Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes. All right. Today, no, Benny. Look, this is what I have to contend with today. The biggest bunch of love ever. 110 pounds, who thinks he's a lap dog, who doesn't understand his size, who just needs love and attention, and his big, massive head is like a bull in a china shop. I love him dearly. So, if you would, wait, Benny, grab your beverage. Is this not the prettiest mug ever? This is my favorite mug at my daughter's. One of my favorite. I got a couple of favorites. But this one is super duper favorite. I love purple. I have it in my hair. So these are little purple flowers. I have mushroom coffee today. So I am not upstairs. I am downstairs. So I'll give you a little sneak peek. I'll give you a little sneak peek. She's got a pretty kitchen. She's got the blue kitchen and it opens. She's got the family room, and then I'm sitting here in the living room, the dining room. We just did a puzzle. If you've never done one of these puzzles, you should really do one. It's called, I think they're called Magic Puzzle Company. And it's so cool because look at this, ready? So the way that the puzzle comes, it actually, let's see if I can do this on the fly since I was not planning to do this. I'll move my mug of coffee. When you do it, you get the picture, right? And you like a normal puzzle. And the tricky part is that not all flat pieces are edge pieces that go around the exterior of the puzzle. Some of them are interior, like these or these. And so this is how the puzzle finished. And then it's called Magic Puzzle because this one was called the Gnome's Home. Gnome's Homes. And it has lots of gnomes and stuff in it. It's pretty cute. But when you're done, you're not done. Because then what you do is, like I showed you, you move this piece over here, you move this piece over here. And miraculously, they're so ingenious that everything still lines up and makes sense. And it leaves a hole in the middle. And then they give you an extra bag of puzzle pieces with no picture. And that is the mystery. And this one was the mean tree monster that's invading the gnomes' homes. And then when you put it all together, it looks like that. Isn't that cool? I thought that was super duper cool. We've done a couple of different puzzles by the same company, and they're amazing. The puzzle pieces are thick. They're not too big. They're not too small. I think they're 1,000 pieces. So it takes a couple hours, but I like it because it's doable. You know, some puzzles, they have so much of the same color that it's like all blue sky. Like literally you're just putting one piece, trying one piece at a time. That is not fun. But these, if you looked carefully enough, you would see that there's so many little intricacies within the puzzle that when you look, you're like, oh yeah, even though there's this, and this one has a guy surfing. This one's got a little blue guy in it, right? And this one's got like a fox or something in it, even though these have 3 and these have 3 and these have 3. And so it's still doable. You can search out and see where's the kite or where's the lamppost and what comes next to the lamppost. And so it makes it fun. It makes it super duper fun. And highly, if you're into puzzles or even if you're not, highly suggest this particular one, which is made by the Magic Puzzle Company. Magic Puzzle Company. All of their puzzles move around, and you have that secret pouch of puzzle pieces that you get to do when you think you're done. You have one more section to do. Do you love puzzles? I love puzzles. Morgan and I love puzzles. Most of my family loves puzzles at this point because we've done them for so long. No, and they have like squirrely pieces too, because you saw some are like pointed, and they're not all normal pieces. Some of them are in the shape of like a butterfly or a triangle, and so it's fun. It's different. Just enough challenge to make it interesting. Benny, leave it. And so what did I want to chat with you about today? Good question. This morning I woke up thinking about a movie that I had seen years and years and years ago, and I don't know the name of it. And so if you know, please do tell me the name. It's with Bruce Willis. And no, it's not Die Hard. It's Bruce Willis, and he plays the part of an adult who gets visited by like a 12-year-old, 10 or 12-year-old child. And figures out that the 12-year-old child is him. Have you seen this movie with Bruce Willis? Yes or yes? If you haven't, it's a great movie. But the reason why I was thinking about it is because I'm contemplating a lot at the point that I am in life. If I were to come back, if my 10-year-old self or 12-year-old self was to come and knock on my door, would she be surprised at my life? Would she be excited about my life? Would she be happy about my life? Would she be disappointed about my life? How would she feel if she were to see my life now? And in the movie, he wants so badly to play. I have been playing. He's been playing with Duncan. Duncan is here. Duncan is laying down. He's done playing. So now Benny's coming to me to play. In the movie, his younger self was so disappointed with how his life turned out. He was like, your life friggin' sucks. You're not married, you have no children, you don't have any friends, nobody comes to visit you, you don't play anymore. Why don't you play? And we don't even have a dog. And he was so incredibly disappointed. And it was a wake-up call for Bruce Willis. And I don't remember much else besides the movie. I should go back and try and find it and see how it works out. If I remember correctly, it's a feel-good movie because those are the kind I usually watch. So chances are it was the push that Bruce needed to shift his life around and get it out of the shitter. And so I wonder, there was a point in my life when I was much younger, I'm trying to think, I was probably younger than 12. Probably younger than 12, maybe 10, when I thought, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a teacher. Why did I want to be a teacher? I wanted to be a teacher because I said learning doesn't have to be this friggin' boring. You don't need to like mark my paper up with 1,000,000 red marks. And I felt that so much of, especially with writing, so much of it is subjective on whether or not it's good writing or bad writing. So I saw all sorts of really creative things, like a teacher gave an assignment to her class to write about a donut, the whole of a donut. The whole of a donut. You have a donut and then you have the whole. So the students were, furiously writing and hurrying up so that they could get their paper in. And this one student turned in his paper with not a single word on it. Because what is in a donut hole? Nothing. Now, There are many teachers out there that would have failed that student. If that was my student, I would have given them an A++++++++++. Why? Because they thought outside the box. And I feel that the teachers that I had, not learning in general, but the teachers that I had didn't think outside, didn't encourage thinking outside the box. Very much enforced thinking within the box. You had to have a subject, a verb, and a predicate. Most people today don't even know what a predicate is. Good golly, they don't even know what a noun and a verb are. So, it makes me ponder, how impactful teachers are and how they can really stifle a lot of creativity if they're not somebody that supports and encourages it. And as I got older, I thought, yeah, no, thank you. I don't want all the red tape, the behavior problems, the 30 kids in a class, the shortened attention spans, the amount of work for such little pay, no thank you, not for me. And so many people might say what I do now is actually teaching in a very different way, right? I teach through fun, I teach through examples. In my talks, people are very interactive and they actually experience the lesson that I am sharing with them so that they can determine whether or not they want to implement it on their own or implement it really easily because of the experience that I have shared with them. So in a way, I kind of am a teacher. Yes. Yes or yes, maybe a little. Not traditional, not for like school age kids. But maybe my journey was not to be teaching school age kids, but the parents or the adults who then teach the school age kids. I don't know. My journey's not over yet. So you never know. Maybe I will eventually do something like that. What else did I want? I will tell you this. There was a certain younger version of myself, probably in my late teens, late teens, early 20s, that didn't want to get married or have children. So if that version of me came to visit, I think her mind would be blown, because that version of me thought that she was going to be the CEO or the vice president in a corner office of a major company, big company. And now I'm the CEO, but my company's really small. So does that count? Not quite the vision I had in my head. I will tell you that. But would she be disappointed in the fact that I am not doing that? Maybe not. I think that those versions of me were not taught to think big enough and couldn't comprehend, conceive, or imagine the life that I'm living now. I know that one of the things that was really big when I was a kid was family. My mom never got to see her siblings, and therefore I didn't really see my cousins growing up because we lived so far apart and it was so expensive to travel. And back then, we didn't have things like this. Back then, in order to even place a call, you needed to pay long distance, which was extremely expensive. So therefore, we never really saw or heard from family members. And we thought that was really sad. We, being my brother and sisters, thought that was really sad. And we made a pact way back one Thanksgiving, because we loved Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was our favorite holiday. And it was so sad that we never got to spend it with extended family, that we made a pact that when we got to be grown-ups, no matter what, we were going to make sure that we were together. And that if the situation was that one person couldn't afford it, then the other people would either go to that person or pitch in and pay to have them come for Thanksgiving. And simple minds, simple problems, simple solutions. Yes, they become a much more difficult when spouses and children and extended family are all involved, when choices need to be made of where to go and whose family to spend it with, and how do we split our time while also creating our own traditions. And I will say that I had more years than not with my family at Thanksgiving. I would say that I have had less years recently with my extended family over Thanksgiving. And moving forward, I'm not sure how it's all going to work out, because now my extended family, their children are becoming of age. Like my daughter is now married. So now there's an extended family. And now she wants to do things and create her own traditions. And so this was the first year that I didn't have my immediate family with me. I went to my brother's. And some of you know I was supposed to have Thanksgiving with my dad for the first time in probably 40 years. How sad is that? 35? Yeah, probably more than that. Years. And it didn't end up happening because he got sick and was in the hospital. But I would say that I spent most of my holidays at the very least with my immediate family and many times with my extended family. Moving forward, I don't know what that's going to look like, because now my extended family is becoming extended further. And so that makes it a little more challenging. My sister's kids, I've got one that's in the service. I've got a nephew that's in the service. I've got nephews that are graduating college. And when you do that, a lot of times you don't get a whole lot of time off like you do when you're in school. And you've got significant others that they're wanting to spend time with their girlfriends' families. And so, the days of extended families all getting together for Thanksgiving, might not happen every year. Maybe it's something that we do every other year. Maybe it's something that we do, my daughter was suggesting, as like a family reunion, and we pick another time during the year besides a holiday to get together. It's no matter when it is, it's challenging, right? It's another change, another transition, another stage of life, and that we are stumbling our way through. So if you've made it through this stage, do share, because there's a lot of options, right? We've done the what's it called when you go to a destination Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're not real fans of that, because it takes away from the traditions of everybody being together, making the pies and laughing and playing games, unless you're all going to rent a lake house or something. And in that case, why spend the money on a lake house if somebody's house is capable of housing everybody? That seems like an expense not necessary. So do tell. If you've made it past this new transition, new phase, do let me know. But getting back to, would my younger self be happy, be surprised, be exhilarated, be disappointed? I think that overall, she would be incredibly relieved. I think she would be relieved that my life turned out pretty damn good, that I found somebody that loves me for who I am, as crazy and energetic as I am, for who I am in all of my variations. And that we have been able to work at our relationship and stand the test of time. I think that she would be, depending on what version of me, would be surprised that I got married and had children. I think that I never would have imagined being able to travel as much as I do at all. That was never part of my grandiose plan. I just wanted to be with my family during Thanksgiving, very small things. And the fact that I spend 2 months out of the year down in Florida and get to see my sister and my extended family then. My husband and I have gone up and spent time with my brother and my nieces. I have actually flown to South Korea when my sister was in South Korea. I never quite made it to Singapore when she was in Singapore. But now she's in Malaysia. Yeah. So who knows? Maybe I can make it there at some point. So the fact that I have traveled to so many places, that I have people that I call my friends all over the world, I think that her mind would actually be blown. Like I thought so small back then. And now I'm open, because I don't think that I can dream as big as life creates for me. I think that ability, sadly, has always been squashed. And therefore, I am always incredibly surprised at some of the things that I've done, some of the things that I've experienced, between creating a product for a women's restroom. What? If you would have told me years ago, decades ago, that I was going to create a product for a women's restroom, that I was going to write and submit a patent for it, that I was going to sell it and have it available for people to buy, and companies and corporations and hotels and restaurants, I would say that you are whacked in the head. I'm not an engineer. I don't know about packaging. I don't know about distribution. I don't know about manufacturing. I don't know anything about that. So I never would have imagined me doing that. If you would have told me, Amy, at some point in your life, you're not only going to host a TV show, but you're going to write, produce, and direct a TV show, and it's going to be all around money, I would be literally laughing in your face, because I struggled with money most of my life until I was, into my 30s, even probably into my 40s. If I'm being honest and I'm thinking back. So the thought of my younger self thinking that I was going to host, write, produce, direct a TV show, teaching people how to stretch their dollar in difficult times. They're having fun. Of course they are. And live their life for less is preposterous. Never would have believed you. So I'm curious, if your 12-year-old self, your 10-year-old self came knocking on your door, how would they feel how your life turned out? Because here's the thing. If they're not excited, if they're not mind blown like mine would be, her mind would be blown at the things I've accomplished, at the things I've experienced, at the things I decided to do that she never would have thought that I would have done. If your younger self is not feeling like that, here's a bit of good news. it's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late to dust that idea for a product off the shelf. It's never too late to try your hand at comedy. It's never too late to write a book. If you need help writing a book, please say book. Because do not hire a publisher. You do not need to pay all that money for that. That's ridiculous. I've written two. I've written Words of Wisdom, What You Need to Know on the Road of Your Life's Journey. And I've also done a 90-day life-changing planner, both available on Amazon. If you're interested, write Amazon. I'll give you the links. Or just search for it. Either one. Amy Fuentes, and then the title of the book, Words of Wisdom or 90-day life-changing planner. So there's nothing stopping you. If you are still breathing, there is nothing stopping you. Colonel Sanders created a restaurant that has stood the test of time despite all of the health initiatives, and his recipe is not very healthy, let's be honest. Did so in his, 60s? Lucille Ball was told 1 million times that she was not funny. I'm sorry, but Lucille Ball literally makes me laugh till I cry. So there are many people who do things in what I call their second act, third act, whatever, their over 50 act, their next chapter, that they're never too old. It's not too late. You're just where you needed to be, where you need to be when you're there. And maybe you didn't have the information or the bandwidth or the time to do what you wanted to do earlier that you might have now. So it's never too late. Your story's not over, my friend. You still have a long story and plenty of chapters to write. So if there's that burning thing inside you that you haven't done, don't beat yourself up. It's not too late. You want to be a teacher and you're 60? Go do it. Go friggin' do it. You can be a substitute teacher. You don't even need to be one that, has to be in charge and come up with lesson plans and all that. You just do it when you want to. Semi-retirement, right? You want to teach a manners class. I wanted to do that at one point, believe it or not. I did. I created a manners class that I taught to my girls. My neighbor allowed me to kidnap her boys, and I did a manners class on who opens the doors and which side of the street they walk on and what silverware you use when and all of that. I didn't do that for the general public. I did that for my own damn kids. But if you want to do it for the general public, more power to you. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you had a desire to hike into the Grand Canyon. I have a friend, Linda, who always wanted to do that. And she's in her 70s, and she's done it. You are not too old. It is not too late. And it is time to dust off those dreams. And if you're sitting there going, yeah, but stop. That yeah, but is that limiting belief in your head, talking you out of the thing that you want to do before you even do it. And it's here to keep you comfortable, to keep you safe, because what if you fail? Who the hell cares if you fail? Regret is way bigger than trying and failing. So what? So what if it doesn't work out? What if it works out better than you envisioned? What if you have an idea for a product or a service that really needs to be met? Maybe that's maybe that's fried chicken. My kids, when they were little, I challenged them to come up. They were in, oh, good gracious. They in like 3rd and 4th grade. I want to say they were in 3rd and 4th grade when I challenged them to come up with a business. And, excuse me, they came up with a business they had to do. It was a product or service that, oh, look, balloons, I love it. A product or service that people really needed, that they could do, and I would support. And so they did. One of them, and I made them do a business plan. Yeah, they kicked and screamed and did it anyway. And one of them did all wrapped up. It was a gift wrapping service that my oldest did on the holidays. And she would promote it for busy parents. She promoted it to teachers at her school. She promoted it as, the gifts that Santa gives that are typically unwrapped could be wrapped by her, that Santa could come and ask for her help in wrapping gifts. And she did pretty well with that. My younger daughter did Reagan's Tasty Toffee. And there was a toffee recipe that I had from a good friend named Vicky. And we absolutely loved this toffee recipe. And there are like 3 ingredients, super duper simple. And even though she was very young, she got a chair and she could put the ingredients in a pot. Now, when the toffee was really hot, I did pour it into a pan. And I did, I think I did use a knife to break it up because I was a little concerned. She was young. But yeah, she did it. And she did so well at it, selling it around the holidays. It was only open during the holidays. And she did so well that she got so many orders and she got tired of doing it. So my daughter, Morgan, took it over, changed it under different management, called Morgan's Tasty Toffee, in order to raise some money when she was in high school. And I wrote a press release for her, and she, we did the whole 9 yards on how much to charge. And I wrote a press release, and she actually was covered in an article in the local paper, which got her more orders so that she could afford to do the thing that she was looking to do. So there are many things that I have done that I don't even really acknowledge or share because it's just, just what I did. I didn't think anything really big of it until others started to say, that's pretty incredible that you created, not only designed, but manufactured, produced, sold, distributed. Good morning, Martha. Good morning, Brenda. It's good to see you. Just manufactured and sold a product for the women's restroom. Say what? So there is still room for whatever it is in your heart. And if you need help with that, or you need a community, please reach out to me. Please reach out to me. I'm here to help. I'm here to give you that boost of confidence. You've got this, my friend. You really do. Because here's the secret. You wouldn't be able to do it if you didn't have the idea in the first place. And you don't need to tell people your idea because many of them won't understand it because it's not theirs. It's not their idea. It's not their journey. But you have been given this idea, this desire, this thought, this, this yearning thing to do that you've put on a shelf for a while. And it's yours to fulfill, nobody else's. And think how sad it would be for whoever, for your community, for your family and friends. It doesn't need to be global. It doesn't need to be international. It doesn't need to be that big. But wouldn't it be sad if you have some dream in your heart that you never fulfilled on, whether that's making pretty bows for cheerleaders or, I don't know, creating a group for teenage girls to learn how to fulfill their dreams so they don't get later in life and have regrets. I don't know. I don't know what's in your heart that you haven't fulfilled. But whatever it is, it's still there. So, my friend, I'm here to help you fulfill it because you're the only one that can. The only one that can do it the way that you would do it. Now, when I did my product for the women's restrooms, are there other products out there? Sure. Are they like mine? Absolutely not. Not a single one. Because mine is the only one that you could actually use single-handed. Mine is the only one that seals completely. So the item that I did was called Palm Packs, and it was a biodegradable zip top bag for the disposal of used feminine hygiene in public places. So think about going into those disgusting bathrooms. Think about camping or boating or on an RV. Think about being on a septic system where you can't flush your yuck. And this bag that I created, you can use single-handed. And it seals completely so it doesn't drip, leak, smell, none of it. And it's environmentally friendly because it biodegrades in a landfill. And so in less than 100 years, right? Because most plastics take like 100 years. So nobody can do what's in your heart quite like you can do. Don't put it off, please. And that's my message. That's my thought. That's my thing that I pondered this morning as I woke up. Yeah, that movie with Bruce Willis. If you remember the movie, please let me know, because I would like to go back and rewatch it. Yeah, I can't remember the name of that movie. And I would love to know if there's something that you thought you would do that you didn't do, write it below. Just let me know. I will tell you all the things that I thought I would do, I've pretty much done. There was one thing that I was going to do that I didn't. And when my daughter was about 2, I think Morgan was a little younger than 2, she absolutely hated going to the doctor. Like, hated going to the doctor. And I felt it was because she didn't really understand what was happening. And there was really not enough time to spend explaining it to her. You know, when she had to stand on the scale, or when they needed to take her blood pressure or her temperature. And I wanted to do a video kind of like back in the day, Mr. Rogers and some others, Sesame Street, would do videos for kids on things that were kind of scary, like going to the dentist or going to the hospital. And I just didn't feel like there was one about going to the doctor, a book or a video. I was leaning more towards a video, but at that time, I didn't even have a video camera. How greatly things have changed. Right now, I can do it on my phone if I really wanted to. Because she was even fearful of the paper on the table. And explaining and letting them see the ins and outs of a doctor's office, the stethoscope, what it is, what it does, that it's not painful, it doesn't hurt, I think would have made her feel more comfortable about going. And I was working with my doctor. I had created a whole script and all of that, and I got talked out of doing it. And I'm sad that I didn't do it. I am. that would probably be one of the few things that I had an idea for that I didn't fulfill. Never too late. Never too late. Not in my heart to fulfill it right now. Maybe in the future. I don't know. Possibly. I have a lot more knowledge and equipment and access to things and can do it much easier than I could then. Maybe it was a timing issue and that's why I wasn't supposed to do it. I don't know. And maybe yours was too. So don't beat yourself up if you didn't get it done. All right, my friend. That's it. That's the things that I'm pondering today. Let me know what you're pondering. Let me know how your Wednesday is going. I hope that you have a wickedly wonderful wisdom, wellness, wishful Wednesday. And I will catch you tomorrow. See ya.